happening?
We're doing a podcast. Oh, right. Okay. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to another episode of Polite as Fuck, where we're just two polite as fuck gals here. Gals is just not my favorite. I really want to like it, but I just like polite as fuck girls. I don't know. I don't like girls either.
It's crazy to me.
And women is like too.
No.
No.
I was talking to a coworker or something, and I had made a comment around how I was like annoyed that this guy on a call, it had only been me and this other woman, and he was like, "Hey, ladies," and I was like, I hate that. But then he was like, "Well, what should he have said?" And basically, what we were just doing is like, I hate all of them. Yeah.
Hey, women.
Like if he said, "Hey, gals," I would have been like, "Ew." Or girls, I would have been really upset.
That's the worst.
And women, I'm just like, what?
That doesn't roll off the tongue. Hey, women? Be like, what?
Like, I don't think there's a good one.
I don't think so either. I say, hey, ladies.
So that's what we came back to, is like, that was probably the best thing he could have said.
Yeah. Well, I say, like, hey, guys. That's like what I say to everybody. I feel like that's just like my go-to. But I like have been told so many times, especially in the industry, to not call people guys. But I feel like it's like, I don't know why people get so upset. It's just like I don't know. I think it's an older generation thing that gets upset at like the hey guys. Because I feel like hey guys, oh yeah. Like hey guys, like everybody knows, like the younger crowd, I feel like, knows it's just your term, it's like an everything. What am I trying to say, you know?
All inclusive.
Thank you. But
I use y'all a lot.
Oh my god. I feel like it does not like work. I feel like if I said it all the time, if I've always said it, it would be fine. But you can't just like wake up one day and be like, I'm gonna start saying y'all. That would be crazy.
I say it in my classes, and before people knew where I was from, they, I guess, thought I was from the South. And I'm like, because I said y'all? I have no other Southern accent.
You don't have a Southern accent, but people do think you have an accent.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
Anyway, that's
hey guys, and that's what I'm saying, so I don't care.
A spiral for another time.
I want to hear your tangent or your rant about Uber drivers.
Yeah. So the way that the topic of today's episode came about was because of a conversation that we had with our Uber driver in Vegas. But it kind of just kept going on. Like, we were like, like, had a little thing. And then she just, like, kept talking about it. Like, we had closed the door on the conversation.
Yeah.
We were just kind of, like...
Still, like, going around.
Yeah, and she just, like, kept bringing it up. And I was kind of, like... Small talk, I can do. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I just... Like, let's just be quiet.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah.
And I feel it's crazy because... The Uber driver that I had back home yesterday from the airport, it was like any time there was a moment of silence, he asked me another question. Like, I was like, please, I just want to be home.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't really responding. And then he's like, starts talking to the cars, like, around. He's like, come on, buddy. Like, let's get home. We all got places to be, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, this is the longest 15 minutes of my life. But I'm just curious your thoughts around, like, Talking.
I hate it. That's why I have a podcast. No, I think there's a time and a place. I think there's, like, opportunity to, like, read the situation, read the room, read the car.
Yeah.
But, like, okay, for example, when we went out that night, our first night in Miami with SB, and she was, like, talking to the Uber driver and, like, going back and forth, I feel like something like that is fine when we're all, like, matching each other's energy and, like, they are responding to how, like, I want, if I'm, like, talking back or whatever. But then I think back to, I just had it. I hate when, like, thoughts leave my brain, like, fully just, like, gone. I just don't like, oh, that's what I was going to say. You know that, this is crazy. You know the Uber driver that we had to, I don't know where we were going actually. I think it was with you, talking about Jehovah's Witness.
Oh,
and like,
yeah. Oh,
from downtown, or I don't know what we were doing, but he would not shut the fuck up, and there was no reciprocation. No one started the conversation. No one was really saying anything. He was almost talking to himself.
Yeah.
And then it's like that small talk where you're just like, you have to be nice, and you're not giving, and then like full tangent about how horrible JW, he was just going on.
He was upset because his mom was one or something, or is one, and now they have a strained relationship. Okay, but here's the thing about like the people pleasing or like empathetic side of me is like clearly they need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And so this is their like time to let it out.
Yeah. You have to catch me in a good mood. I feel like I can go either way. There are some times where I'm like, okay, I'll like small talk, haha, but like be short so that you know that I don't want to talk.
Yeah.
And then other times I like literally won't respond. Or I'll just be like, because I'm just like, I'm not. There should be a rule though that if you pick someone up from an airport, drop off is different. Well, I don't know. Airport is just like, don't talk to me.
I feel like you can be like, hey, how's your day going? Because that's
like, are you coming in? Are you new? Are you not? Yeah. Okay.
And I feel like depending on the person's response, like if I was like, oh my gosh, I was just in Vegas, like, have you been, like asking questions back, then it's like, okay, this person's down to talk. But if I'm like, yeah, I was just in Vegas, then it's like, cool, hope you had a good time.
Yeah. And close the curtain on that one. Talking.
Well, you can pick in the app. You can pick if you want like a quiet ride.
Really?
Yeah. My setting is set to don't talk to me.
Really?
I think is usually
it's probably like the most talkative, and I'm getting annoyed all the time. These people are like, "What? You wanted this. You
requested me to ask you questions."
I wonder if you get more if you like are a talkative driver. Like, do you get paid more if you have to like hold a conversation?
I mean, I don't know how much they follow it. I just know I had to select it at one point. And I also have that I speak Spanish, which sometimes can like bite me in the butt because they like just go and I'm like,
whoa, slow down.
Wait, I actually don't really.
Just kidding.
I'm just kidding. I don't know anything.
Yeah. I don't know. People talking is just... It's unsolicited talking. It's just too much.
Yeah, it's a lot. But the thing that got brought up in this Uber drive was someone made a comment. I think someone was like on their phone and she was like, have you guys ever like seen those Facebook groups? Like, are you dating my boyfriend or do you know this man type thing?
Yeah.
And the Uber driver went off and she was like, those groups are like, I've been like 30 of them. They have like some for like every area code basically. And like you had said that you found that it like originally started for, what did you say you found?
Well, when I just like Google, because I didn't know that it was like started as a Facebook group. I've only seen like the TikToks or Instagram reels of like someone videoing some guy at a club, and it's like not in the caption, but like the words that you can post like in the thing is like, this, if this is your guy, he looks like this, like description, like he's cheating on you, or he's doing this, like just thought that's what I knew. And so when you said Facebook groups, I just Googled it, and it started off it's like a newer thing that's been going on at the beginning of this year, and people like men have filed lawsuits. It's happened in Illinois, and it's happened in California, in LA. And this guy, like the main guy, some guy named like Murray or something like that, has like sued over 50 women. And LA's like court is like, fuck off, dude. This is not defamation. Like, what are you what are you talking about? But that got me thinking too, like, I don't know, just kind of, is it right? Like, logistically, what's going on here, and what my thoughts are, because I feel like I have some thoughts.
Yeah. Do you want to share them?
All of them? Right now. Ready to go.
Well, because I got on Reddit, because, you know.
As one does.
And someone had asked, like, what do you think of the, like, are we dating the same guy groups? And they were like, I recently joined one. I've been, like, seeing this guy for 2 months. Someone posted his profile, but she was like, it's not, like, the screenshots aren't what his profile is right now. So I'm like, are these old pictures from his profile, or like someone who just is like upset and resurfaced something? And one of the comments was like, I had to leave the group because it's not really used for its intended purpose anymore, like exposing cheaters or sexual predators. It's like turning into this thing where it's like people are upset that they got rejected, or that like someone like ghosted them or whatever, and now they're like, oh, are you dating this person? Like just trying to like start something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, okay, I have a lot of
I know. Okay.
I have so many things.
Just that like was something that I looked up too, is when I was trying to figure out like these lawsuits. There was another article in Washington Post that was talking about how one woman's experience where she thought that she was joining the group in order to bring awareness of her like sexual predator that she had, like, I don't know if they were dating or something had happened, but she had posted in that group her experience. Mm-hmm. And she found that like, yeah, the group was actually pretty toxic because all of these comments, instead of feeling like supported or having other people share their stories, the message actually got back to the person that was kind of abusing her. And like I can only imagine, you know, like that's just traumatic in one sense. And I'm sure that like happens not super often, but it just kind of opens the door for like, I don't know, pretty scary.
Yeah.
I just like, when I first hear these kinds of things, I am like, I don't know, I'm always on the girl side at first. Like, I'm always gonna be like, nah, fuck the man. I don't know what you did, but fuck you. Like, that's just, sorry, like, that we're girlhood.
Yeah.
And then along that same thought, I'm like, even if it does kind of borderline crazy, and I hate saying that word, but like, take it with a grain of salt here. This is what happens when men treat women like shit for like years and years and decades and centuries forever. Like this is the repercussion. It's like women are gonna come together regardless if it's like the right thing, the wrong thing. Is it like borderline like what you were just talking about? It's like, well, it might be, but like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? Like, don't act up and something like this won't happen.
Yeah.
And then I also just like have my spiral thoughts about like social media and like whether or not that's a good thing. And then we can even fucking touch on just like dating. All of like, this is just how dating has like changed. I don't know. This like, it's such a good topic because it like, there's so many things
so
that stem. Yeah.
Well, I've been seeing a lot of the TikToks too of like, hey, if you're with this guy, he's cheating on you.
Yeah.
And I witnessed it firsthand this past weekend in Vegas.
Like Vegas is like the
of like
place for that.
We could have easily made a video of like, if this is your fiance, like he's cheating on you type thing.
Yep.
And it's like, that's just terrifying to me of like what you're opening up for yourself as like a bystander.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get that you're trying to be helpful.
Yeah.
And like look out for whoever this other person is in their relationship. But then it's like, yeah, I guess you're opening yourself up for so much hate and like drama. And I'm also like, I'm a believer that if you cheat, you will always get caught.
What goes around comes around. Yeah. And it will always come to light.
Yeah, always. So it's like, do you really need to like insert yourself into that to bring it to light? I get that you're trying to like maybe prevent someone from marrying someone who's like clearly a horrible person, or like, but I'm also like, they're gonna find out.
And that's not your job.
Yeah. And that just, I feel like you're opening yourself up for a lot of drama and like annoying things in your life.
Yeah.
Because you decided to make some post.
Yep.
And also as the fiance or wife or girlfriend or whatever, to be on social media and see that, like that has to be a horrible feeling for them.
Yeah.
And now everyone in their life, like, sees it too.
Yeah.
So now everyone's finding out, and it's like no longer just this like private thing or like thing that they get to decide how they want to handle it.
Yeah. I am just also too, when you're in that moment and you're so upset because you're with this guy or seeing this guy or you see him cheating or whatever it is, like, I understand that rage, but the issue is, like, when it's social media and it opens up, like, things can turn, like, so quick. Once you have, like, a group of people, things can turn really nasty. So even if your intentions are, like, oh, I want to, like, be there for whoever, whatever, as soon as you post it, like, your rage now fuels all of these other people, and it becomes, like what you were just saying, this place to just, like, talk shit and be mean and then talk about how people are, like, horrible at dating or whatever. Like, the spiral goes on. It just doesn't really seem like it's coming from, like, oh, let me help other women out.
Yeah. Or even if it is, it's like there's other layers to it.
Yes. Yeah. Question, though.
Yeah.
To be able... So for the sake of, like, the Facebook post, if someone did post something of, like, are we dating the same guy... Do you have to be in the group to see that post?
Yeah, because I was trying to, like, go find some that we could read, and most of them are private. Like, I couldn't, and I'm like, I'm not going to join these groups. I don't want to be in here. And so it's like, you have...
So the... Sorry, I just, like, I feel like that answers... For as far as, like, the Facebook side of things, that answers it. If you are in that group, like, that's, like, that world. Like, what? I would never be like, okay, now I'm dating in San Diego, gotta go log into, like, are we dating the same guy of San Diego, just to make sure, like...
Yeah.
No. You're, like, in that circle. You're in that universe. Of course you're being fucked over. You're, like...
Yeah. Yeah. I know. And it's, like, not to say that those people aren't, like... Okay.
It's just, like, you're asking for trouble.
You're asking for trouble, and I'm also, like, if you think that this person is cheating on you, kind of what we talked about before, they probably are, because you have that feeling. And why don't you just go validate it yourself?
Yeah.
You can do that. You don't need to, like, be posting or finding them in this group. Like, that's a whole other spiral.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, if you're feeling that way about whoever you're dating or married to or whatever, like, you can probably find out through their phone or some means, or talk to them and, like, see how they respond. Yeah. And, like, I don't know. Like,
you don't really need this.
I don't know that you need that.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, to that point, it's like, one of them I found had, like, 7,000 people in it, which seems like a lot, but I'm like, that's really not that many people. And you have to be one of those people that coincidentally is dating the same person in the same region as this other person, and they both are in this group.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But yeah, otherwise you're, like, in that sphere of, like, dating just probably really crappy people that are, like, just players and doing whatever they want.
It, like, I just go back and forth because it makes sense to want to, like, make sure, or how it started of, like, you know, this guy basically on Hinge lying and like going with, like, ghosting people or using them for sex and all of these things so that, like, women can come together and, like, shed light on it and make sure that he doesn't do it. Like, I get the intention. It just feels like, especially with Facebook, like, I'm like, at least even with Instagram, like, the likelihood, I mean, I guess it happens, but it just feels like so, like, such a long shot that I'm like, how do you not have, like, how is your intuition or, like, your, like, inner gut not, like, feeling this?
Yeah.
Like, is really social media gonna be the turning point where you're like, now I see it, now I know he's not a good guy? That's really your turning point?
Yeah. Well, okay, here's not a Facebook group, but you know that couple that for some reason, I'm, like, down the rabbit hole with them. He was an NFL player, and she, like, found out that he was cheating on her.
Yeah.
She found out because she was on, like, a live, and someone, like, had kept commenting and was like, I need to, like, talk to you, like, check your DMs, blah, blah, blah. And she said that she had a feeling in that moment of, like, I think I need to, like, go see what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And went to her DMs, and there were, like, all these screenshots and things of, like,
the picture of all the cheating.
Everything that had happened. And she was like, oh, crap. So it's like, but to me, that's different than her. She didn't go out to join a Facebook group. It's like someone came to her, found her.
With information.
And I do think you can do that.
Yeah.
Like, for the people in I don't know, I guess in Vegas, if you're just like eyewitness to something.
Yeah.
And you see someone I'm like, I don't know how you know.
But okay, this is my next like branch off of this conversation. And it's like why don't people mind their business? Like why don't we I think we're so focused, and myself included, I find myself doing this all the time, but we're so focused on what everyone else is doing that we have like stopped checking in with ourselves and checking in to see like if we just do what's right and like are worried about ourselves, like it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. It's not really my business. And like, yeah, we just had an episode about it, but like I don't like a fucking cheater. I hate it.
Yeah.
I have my own okay.
Go listen.
Yeah. So I'm like, I understand that being upsetting, but it's not my fucking business. If I'm out in Vegas and I see a guy with a ring, like I'm gonna check myself. Like if I am going up to talk to a guy and I see that they have a ring, or I find out he's like, that's in my mind where I'm like, this is stop. This is our opportunity for me to make a decision here.
Yeah.
I think sometimes like we don't check ourselves and we're like so like in the moment and we don't care. We're like blinded by whatever that we don't hear the information or know until it's too late or whatever. And now we're just like upset and feel like he's like sleazy. But it's like, I don't know.
I think that, yeah, I get what you're saying.
I think it's, I mean, that's like the hookup side of things, and that's different than dating. But it's like a hookup is different because you're just hooking up, and also like you're not like gonna be you're not in love with this person. Like, yeah, whatever they made, that's like shitty. It's not your fault if you didn't know. That's their fault. But like whatever. Hope you had a great time. He's just a douche. But like dating is like, yeah, I get it. He's an asshole if he's like hiding all of this from you or like living a secret life. But it's like, how do you not know? Like, and Facebook isn't gonna help.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say this, like, the like trauma part of me, I don't know. The waiting for the other shoe to drop side of me is like people go on and live lives, like fake lives for years.
Yeah.
And things always come to light, but it's like the years that someone lost being with someone else who was just like not being truthful or being honest is like so upsetting. And so there's that part of me of like, if someone did tell me that like my boyfriend was dating someone else or whatever, like as horrible as that would be in the moment, it would also be like, okay, I clearly like I wasn't on to this yet. Like, I know that I would have figured it out eventually, but, like, thanks for fast-forwarding that for me, so definitely. I'm not wasting so much time.
Yes.
So that's, like, the other side of it that I see of, like, or, like, if I was engaged and as horrible as it would be to come across that video and have everyone find out at the same time, it's like, wow, now I'm not marrying this person.
God. Yeah.
Because, like, who's to say? I mean, they probably wouldn't ever stop. Also, that is an insane bug.
Is it inside?
No. It's gone now. Did you see? Have you
scared the fuck out of me? I like saw your eyeballs and I'm like, oh my Lord, have mercy. Is it the green one?
I don't know. It's this giant. I couldn't tell the color because of the shadow, but it's giant flying beetle looking thing.
Oh yeah, it's those green ones. They're blind, so that makes me feel a little bit better.
Okay.
So yeah, like, it's not their fault.
You just didn't turn around.
It's like I'm gonna freak out. I cannot. Well, actually, yesterday I was sitting outside and I'm like, looking, enjoying the view, and I'm like looking closer and I see a spider web and I'm like really looking in it and like this spider's right there and I'm like,
oh no.
I'm like, oh my God.
Stick your face
yeah,
in it.
literally. What were you saying before the bug?
I was saying that.
Yeah,
I'm kind of saying the opposite of what I just said because it's like that's the back and forth, and that's why I keep saying I don't know, even though I do know things, and I hate that I keep saying I don't know.
Yeah.
Is like, yeah, it'd be horrible, and I think that you would find out eventually, and like, why does someone need to insert themselves? But at the same time, thank you for like helping save years or whatever. Whoever knows how much time of my life
would have been
wasted on this person who's just like not faithful.
Yeah. I also think too with social media, I mean, it's a blessing and a curse, but sometimes it kind of like, I don't know, scares the living daylights out of people. Like you don't really want to be out because everything can be photographed. And I think that's a fear now for a lot of people is like, I haven't really come across it, but I think about it. I think about it a lot more now that I'm older, and I think social media has gotten like so big. I mean, I didn't as a kid, thank God. But sometimes I'm like, people could be filming, anything could be happening.
Taken out of context too.
Yeah, a video, a picture, anything. But I mean, I think with this conversation, it's like maybe more people are like wanting to do the right thing or not like fuck up or like not get caught in doing things knowing that it can be put on blast so quick.
Yeah.
So maybe that's like a good thing is like to like deter people from making bad choices. But I'm like, if social media is the reason why you're not wanting to make good choices, like you're not a good person.
Yeah.
Like that's what's gonna stop you from cheating is like, oh, it might get on Facebook. Then you're just a dick.
You're horrible. But this is just what makes me so sad, and like it's really hard not to fall into the like cynical spirally side of things. Is like this is clearly so common and happens all the time that it's like, what is the point?
Yeah. You're preaching to the choir here.
It makes me so upset, and it makes me like really disheartened and not want to like open up and not want to like fully trust because I'm like, if the moment I fully let my guard down, I know something bad will happen.
Yep.
And I know that's horrible, but it's just, I mean, this past weekend, I was in Vegas this past weekend, if you couldn't tell by the amount of times I talked about Vegas. and yeah, okay, maybe that's the place that it's like Sin City, you know, everyone's like doing shit.
Yeah.
And so maybe I'm just like being really jaded right now, but I'm like, this is just like more common than it's not.
Yeah. I don't know. I have no hope. I feel like that's a stretch.
No. Oh, no.
We've
reached that part of the episode.
Yeah.
Well, about 30 minutes in, we've have lost no hope.
It really is sad, and it just makes me feel like, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know where to start because it's like, dating is just not fun. People are just not fun. It's just not fun, and I see things like this, and I'm like, I have no interest in putting myself out there to not only like the opportunity to like be hurt, I feel like is greater. And it's like, yeah, that's bound to happen. That's just life. And I get that. But it's like, I also think with this kind of like background that Erica and I have with like your life kind of being like turned upside down so far into like your childhood, basically into adulthood, that like that trauma like comes in a little bit too.
That's true. Yeah, it makes you like question a lot of things.
So many like that's already like a trust piece, and then on top of it, for like your life just to get flipped upside down on social media or to see something like this and like you think you know someone, and I mean that's another branch of this whole situation is like the way that dating is nowadays, and like with dating apps and like meeting people in real life, like I just think that there are so many things that can go wrong, and this is just like another like I don't know, and it just is so sad because like where's the sense of community, even like the dating community? Like I would want to be in this together, and I feel like the community piece is like, yeah, great, women are coming together, but we're coming together, I don't know, it's just like all of this hate, like and like thing, and it's like
let's all rally together behind this horrible person.
Yes, and I know I talk so much shit on guys, and I know that was like one of my like resolutions this year or last year, or I don't even know what year, of like to not be so mean and cynical towards them. And I don't want to be, and I really shouldn't, but it's like, I am because of the, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just like spiraling a little bit, but I just think I can't help but be negative because of these things, and I want that sense of community, and I want men to be involved in that community because those are the people I'm fucking attracted to, so I'm trying to, like, be nice, but it just seems like I feel like I'm in the toilet bowl part of Wild Island. That's where I'm at. Like, I'm just like, wee. That's what I'm at. And I don't mean that in like a fun roller coaster way. I mean like
just like, yeah,
literally in the shit.
Mm-hmm. To pull us out of the negative for a second, or just like maybe the realist side.
Mm-hmm.
My optimistic side that I'm trying to get back to is like, just because of that Reddit thing that I read, and like someone being like, this isn't even his profile anymore, like, are people just writing this because they're feeling like rejected or something happened? And like, you can post in these groups anonymously too, which I get for your safety, like especially if the one you're talking about of like her sexual abuser or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you post it anonymously, but then it's like you can also post it anonymously, so you could be making shit up. And I like the man that's like trying to sue or whatever. It's like, okay, maybe if 50 women are saying something, there's something there, but it's also like, if you had a falling out with someone or like rejected them, and maybe you did it in a bad way, and that happens a lot too, but it's like, that doesn't mean that you deserve to be labeled as something that you're not, or to be like, to have these like stories construed about you of you being like a cheater or like in these groups, because now like that's something that's associated with your name.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, this is like, I'm jumping around, but like, there's like Reddit groups that are started like about people and like just talking shit about them, and like Facebook groups, I'm sure, that exist for the same thing, and just like these people just like feeding off of each other's negativity. And I feel like needing some drama in their life or something to like distract them from their life, so that's why people join these groups, or are like adding onto threads. And like, no, not shitting on the Uber driver at all, her being in like 30 of these groups to me feels like this is like entertainment. This is like a reality show. But it's also like, these are people's lives, and who's to say how much of it, like, yeah, I'm on the same boat as you of like, I'm gonna believe the woman, but I also am like,
well, now you're perpetuating the behavior.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to put myself now in that guy's shoes, and like, this is what, like, now he's gonna be jaded. Now he's like, well, fuck, I can't trust women.
Yeah.
Like, they're all, you know, I can just see that spiral, and then they go to their friends, or like he has a kid or a son, like, and how that, like,
it just never ends.
Never ends.
Yeah, because I do think I'm much more critical. I'm very critical of men, and I think that I can be like, I was actually saying this over the weekend. I was like, it's hard for me to just be like flirty and like fun, because I immediately am guarded around men, and I'm immediately like, what do you want?
Yeah.
Like, what? No. Or just like, not even like, I'm going to talk to whoever the girls are in the group and just not even give them the time of day.
Yeah.
Wait, where was I going with that point?
I feel that. I feel that so bad. Sometimes it just leaves. It's literally
no.
like,
oh no.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, but is my behavior also perpetuating this, like, well, I can never like talk to women because they're like, they're standoffish, they don't want me to, and I don't want to be like a creep, I don't want to be perceived as like annoying. And so it's this thing of like, how can we help each other out? Because it's like, clearly, like, as a straight woman, like, I want to date a man, and I want him to be sweet, and I want him to talk to me, and I want him to like be fun and flirty and all these things. And it's like, how can I allow him to do that if I'm not giving the space for him to do that?
Yeah. I have been really trying to be like more open and positive about just like dating in general and men and things like that, but it's like situations like this or things like this, or I'll hear something and I really don't want to lose hope. It's just really tough. There's just a lot more to navigate now, and it seems to be getting more complicated and like so many other like added factors that I don't think I'm losing hope, but it's tough. And like it just makes dating even harder knowing that there are things like this that now we have to navigate, because like we said, not to like continue in the same freaking carousel, but it's like, yes, it's a blessing.
That was a good say.
Thank you. Like, it's a good thing, and I see, and there's a lot of good things that come up to light, and that's great. Like, yeah, let's get those cheaters. But also like sometimes we don't need to be in everybody's business, and sometimes like it does more harm than good, and then it just, like I just said, it is now like makes people more jaded when things like this happen.
When you were dating, based on the last episode that everyone listened to, like, would you have wanted to find out about things from someone else, or like earlier? Or are you glad that you like things happened the way that they did?
I mean, I don't know. I'm glad things happened the way that they did, because I feel like that's just like, I have to go, like, I firmly believe this, like, you as a person, me as a person, I just have to go through whatever I have to go through. Yeah, you know, so I think it's gonna I don't know. I've just been in a situation where I was the one to bring everything to light, and like I just will never do it again. I will never, like, I'm not gonna it's none of my business.
Yeah.
And like, even if it's someone I know or shady or something like that, I think even still, I mean, maybe a family member. No, I don't know. Fuck. I just, like, I don't want to get involved. Like, I just don't need that drama. And also, I feel like it's an opportunity for me to, like, oh, okay, now I know the kind of person you are. Whether it's, like, dating, whether it's, like, the girl being shady, now I'm like, okay, now I know the kind of, like, friend you are, the kind of person. Or some guy, it's like, yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm of the stance of, like, if you can find the person, like, for that girl on that video that went viral of, like, if you are dating this man or whatever, like, he's cheating on you. Like, if you can find who that person is and tell her, sure. Yeah. If you feel like you have proof and, like, want to help a sister out. But, like, otherwise, I just think just leave it be.
Yeah. Well, have you... I don't want to, like, put you on blast and we can cut this out, but you've been in a similar situation where, like, maybe I'm confusing this with someone else. Okay.
Just say what you're thinking.
Let me give you a hypothetical. And if this has happened, we'll pretend it hasn't.
Okay.
If you are either traveling or here and you're dating, like, on Hinge, or you go out on a date with someone and you're, like, having a good time, you don't necessarily do anything. There's, like, maybe, let's say you kiss, but, like, very cutesy, you're trying to plan things for the future or whatever. You somehow, none of their social media is on their dating app or anything like that, but you somehow are like, oh, let me see if I can find them. And you find them and everything's fine, and then you look at their, like, tagged photos and they have, like, a whole wife or kid. Like, what do you do?
That did happen.
I feel like, I was like, this is a situation that's happened.
Yeah, that did happen.
And I feel like we talked about it. I'm like, did we talk?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't either. So let's do it now.
Okay, well, I didn't, in my situation, we had just matched and been talking, and then I found his social media and saw that he had a wife and kids.
Okay, yeah.
So I didn't do anything. I was like, I told him, I like screenshotted it and sent it to him. And I was like, so you're married, ?
Good for you.
But I didn't do anything to, like, message the wife or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And that was, and then it turned into, and I got blocked and whatever. And it's like, okay.
But I feel like that's a good way to handle it.
Yeah.
In your situation, because you didn't do anything, you don't need to. Why are you gonna bring that woman into it? Like I'm sure whatever. But like, also call him out. Like, I don't fuck with this behavior.
Yeah. Well, in that hypothetical that you just said, like, I feel like I would still handle it probably similarly. Of, like, confront him and be like, what the fuck? Like, I only went about this because you were on Hinge and, I would assume that you're single.
Yeah.
And if you're married and you're in some open relationship, like, let's disclose that. Because that's crazy not to.
Yeah. Well, and also, we've met people that are in open relationships and are actually try to, like, intentionally date, and they say it right off the fucking bat. They're like, this is my situation, this is my partner, I'm very, like, upfront about it. I think that's like the healthy way to do it. It's the people that say, try to play the game, and then you get the information. It's like, well, we're in an open relationship. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not.
That's not. People who are in open relationships, I think, have some of the, like, best communication.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
so your lack of communication is proof that you're not. Yeah.
That I know that that's not true.
Yes.
So.
I am just trying to answer the question for myself of, like, if I was in a situation where, like, I was with a guy and somehow found out that he had someone else and I knew who that was, whether, like, I wouldn't obviously know who that was personally, but, like, could have
easily
find them. Yeah. Would I say something? I think I definitely would confront him about the behavior, no doubt about that. I just, like, have so much trauma about, like, hurting other people's feelings. Like, I will always be the person that gave her the bad news. Like, I will be the villain in her story. Which, like, and I think even in my mind, if someone told me, like, I would know deep down it's not her fault. Like, she's the one telling me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if someone were to message me online, ew, what the fuck? What the fuck did I just say? Online? Well, let me go join that Facebook group now. Like,
we're back in 2001.
Yeah, literally. Let me just, like, start up my fucking computer so I can get online.
I saw a post the other day that was like, one day you turned on not the monitor. What is that thing called? The box. The big box that you used.
The computer.
The, like, thing next to the computer?
Yeah.
Dang it, why can't I think of
monitor.
The, like, hard drive or whatever?
Yeah, what is that called? Oh, that sucks.
Anyways, it was like one day you turned on the box with your big toe for the last time.
Literally.
Like,
it was on the floor and you just, like, hold it down.
And then one day you never had to do that again and you never knew.
That's kind of sad.
I know. Sorry, I fully took
No, that's
you
okay.
Off your train of thought.
Well, don't fucking online.
Like, someone messaged you online.
I mean, like, I would be upset and I would be mad at them because I would be like, what the fuck? Not at them, but there would always be this, like...
Well, yeah, they were the reason that, like, your relationship ended.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, like it's their fault.
Yes.
But yes, it was them that, like, made that end.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you are the villain in their story. And I feel like if you are deciding to do that, to go tell the person who doesn't know, it's like you have to know that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So
you're not going to be besties.
No. And I don't know. I don't know what if there's a right thing. I think maybe it has to do with, like, your intention. Like, are you doing it to hurt her or are you doing it to hurt him? Or are you trying to, like, actually be like, hey, woman to woman? I think it's just all about how you approach it. It's just a really tough situation to be in no matter what. I just, like, are women as sleazy as men? I feel like they are.
I do think that, which is, like, kind of where I was going with the playing devil's advocate thing of, like, sometimes I feel bad.
And I hate saying that.
Yeah.
But
with how, like, much... I think it's because women stick together. So it's, like, men immediately have a gang on them of, like, you're horrible.
Yeah.
Before things come to light or whatever. It's just, like, because women stick by each other and immediately like, what that person says is what we're going to stand by until whatever else comes to light.
Yep.
And so I think that's where kind of what you were saying, the, like, community piece can be a detriment or, like, a negative thing and, like, really ruin someone's life. Because now, especially in, like, a Facebook group of, like, are you dating my man? And now we have 5,000 comments on this thing that it's, like, it's not true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we're just, like, shitting on someone, ruining someone's life from something that, like, isn't true.
Yeah. It's bad. And, like, I'm just going to say the same thing really quick, but just because I have to.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is what happens when women have been fucked over since the dawn of time. Yeah. Like, it sucks because I think it's just this cycle and making dating harder, and we're making it harder on ourselves. Like, that's great that we can stick together, and, like, it's two sides. Like, yeah, fuck them all. This is what happens. Like, you've pushed us over the edge. We have no trust. We have no rights. There's nothing. Like, let us have this. But then also part of me, especially someone that's single, I'm like, what can I do to make this dating thing easier? And I feel like this isn't it.
No. I will not be joining these or, like, putting myself, like, it's just then you're in that energy and in that mindset.
And I don't need it.
And you don't need it. Like, even if you aren't dating someone and you're still in those groups, it's like, now that's what you're saying. And that affects, like, what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And now you're
kind of like in the tornado of, yeah.
Which is why I'm in this weird headspace right now, because I was just, like, in that land of, like...
I'm going to pull you out.
Yeah.
Let's get you out of that.
I need to get out. Everyone's not horrible. I know it.
Whatever.
But, yeah, it's kind of crazy, the power of social media, and, like, wild that we've had to start these groups. And I wonder if men have the same thing. I honestly didn't even look. But what I did see when I was looking up Are You Dating My Man is these, like...
Oh, God, if it's old people, I can't handle it.
It's older people who are, like...
Older, Ellie. Older people.
Not, like, 80, maybe in, like, their 50s or 60s. Who are, like, hey, like, I am... It was mostly men of, like, I, like, this is a little bit about me, like, I like this, and I have a successful business or whatever, and I, like, would really love to, like, find someone to share it with type thing, and I was just like, oh, like, that's what you have to resort to, is, like, putting it on the, like, singles Facebook group.
Yeah.
And that's sad. But also maybe you can find love there. I don't know. Maybe that's a more positive group, and people are finding love on Facebook.
I just have, like, such an issue with that. It just opens yourself up. Like, it's already tough. Like, I don't need to log in and see comments about, like, I can only imagine.
Oh, yeah. People are, like, mean.
Being mean.
Yeah.
Just, like, open a door.
Facebook can be a really mean place. I think that I am about to say a statement that is probably similar to all men are horrible. But, like, I do think the older generation is less accepting and are keyboard warriors and say shit that, like, they just say because they can hide behind a screen.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like younger millennials, Gen Z, are like, we're not, I don't think, cyberbullying. Mm-hmm. At least it's not as horrible as it was.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that. I mean, I think there's always going to be those people that are hiding, but I think, Gen Z and the, like, younger millennials are a little bit more accepting, I guess. I don't know if that's, like, too much of a generalization, but...
I mean, I think we, like, grew up in, like, at least us, like, in the time where all of us started.
Yeah. I also think, too, that if you are, like, in my experience... some of the younger generation, like, if you're saying it online, you're also saying it to people's face. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think the older generation is very much, like, trying to hide. And, like, they don't... I don't know.
Yeah.
Just those thoughts. Yeah.
Okay, we don't need to cut out. We need to just cut this because we could talk about it forever, and I'm sure we'll have another episode where we talk about it. But maybe don't join those groups. If you feel like someone's cheating on you, they probably are, and I'm really sorry. And if you find someone else that's cheating on someone else... that's really messy, and there's not a right way to, like,
good luck.
Decide how to tell the person if you feel like you should.
Yep.
But anyway, I think that we're all doing good over here, and there's no cheaters in our lives at the moment.
Yeah, thank God.
Thank goodness. We're going to go about our day and have a lovely week, but you can find us, Pod as Folk Podcast, wherever you get your podcast, and see you next Wednesday.
See you next week.